Alright, let's talk about the future, but not the shiny flying car kind. I'm talking about a warning, one that comes straight from the history books of Starfleet. You see, according to Star Trek lore, World War III kicks off in 2026. Yeah, that's just weeks away. Now, I know what you're thinking, it's just science fiction. But hold on. Let's look at what's happening right now and see if the Trek writers were onto something. In the Star Trek timeline, the cause of the war was a series of escalating conflicts over genetic engineering and eugenics, leading to the rise of augmented supermen like Khan Noonien Singh. The world fractured into warring factions, each convinced of its own superiority. Sound familiar? Let's connect the dots. We're not talking about literal super soldiers yet, but think about the conversations we're having right now about AI, genetic modification, and human enhancement. Every day there's a new headline about CRISPR technology that can edit our DNA, or AI that is getting smarter than us. These aren't just scientific debates anymore. They're becoming ideological battlegrounds. One side screams about the ethical nightmare and the potential for a new form of inequality, where the rich can literally buy better genes for their kids. The other side champions progress, arguing we have a duty to cure diseases and push the boundaries of human potential. It's a classic sci-fi setup, playing out in real time. Now let's add another classic ingredient for global conflict: resources. In 2025, we're already seeing tensions over everything from clean water and rare earth minerals for our electronics, to who gets to control the shipping lanes. Imagine what happens in 2026 when a country announces a breakthrough in bioenhancement that makes their workers more productive or their soldiers more resilient. Suddenly that resource squabble isn't just about money. It's about one nation gaining a biological edge over another. That's the kind of existential threat that makes leaders push the big red button. And don't forget the echo chambers. Star Trek didn't have social media, but we do. The war in their timeline was fueled by ideologies that became unshakable beliefs. Today, our algorithms feed us a constant diet of content that confirms what we already think. We're becoming more polarized, less willing to compromise, and quicker to see the other side, not just as wrong, but as evil. It's the perfect breeding ground for the kind of us versus them mentality that precedes every major war in history. One viral piece of misinformation, one deep-faked video of a world leader, and suddenly diplomacy goes out the window. So, how does it all start? The Star Trek timeline is vague on the exact trigger, but let's paint a plausible, satirical picture for 2026. It won't be a grand declaration of war. It'll be something small, almost stupid. Maybe it starts with an international incident over a new smart drug that enhances cognitive function, which one country accuses another of stealing. Or perhaps a deepfake video surfaces, showing a political leader from one nation insulting another, and it goes so viral that a public apology isn't enough to calm the digital mobs demanding retaliation. The first shots aren't missiles, they're cyber attacks. The power grid in one major city goes down. The stock market in another is thrown into chaos by hacked trading algorithms. It's a first strike without a single boot on the ground. But then comes the response. Nations, already paranoid and divided, see this not as a limited cyber conflict, but as the opening salvo of a much bigger war. Old alliances are tested, new ones are forged in secret, and everyone starts pointing fingers. The media, both mainstream and social, goes into a frenzy, fanning the flames with speculation and outrage. And that's it. That's the snowball rolling downhill. It's not one single event, but a cascade of failures of communication, failures of empathy, and failures of our own technology turning against us. So, is this a prediction? Of course not. It's a satirical warning. The writers of Star Trek weren't prophets. They were just really good at observing human nature. They understood that our greatest strengths, our ambition, our ingenuity, our passion can also be our greatest weaknesses when they're not tempered with wisdom and compassion. The year 2026 in the Star Trek timeline serves as a cautionary tale. It's a reminder that the path to a global catastrophe isn't paved with alien invasions, but with very human arguments over technology, resources, and ideology that are happening right now. Let's hope we're smart enough to choose a different timeline. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy pondering these kinds of future scenarios, make sure to subscribe for more.